research was progressing. Just 3 months after the birth of young Nomi, Kwong announced that he had cloned a species of cow native to Korea, Hanwoo, which is known for its high-quality cuts of beef. The cow was named Kimi after a famous 16th century Korean poet. At the request of Kwong, the name was chosen by none other than President Kim Dae-jung himself. With the full backing of the South Korean government, Kwong fully transformed from just a humble veterinarian to a full-on distinguished bioscientist. The Ministry of Science and Technology awarded him around $1.6 million to pursue a method of analyzing cows and cattle for beef. The goal was to mass-produce over 100,000 cows by 2008, but ultimately this project ended up failing and stopped sometime in the early 2000s. Nonetheless, this did not diminish Kwong's reputation. It's rare that a scientist knocks it out of the park twice in a row. This was followed up by him announcing his intentions to clone a tiger and cows that would be resistant to mad cow disease. None of these promises came to fruition either, but it didn't really matter. Kwong was becoming a master of PR. For his big press releases, he hired professional photographers. When he came to quotes, he'd personally give them guided tours of his labs to pet the animals he was working with. His announcements were carefully spaced out for the public to hear. Whether they succeeded or not emphasized the point. He was the top of the country, and at some point, he'd have another success. That eventually came in 2002, when his team announced that they had successfully cloned pigs. And they weren't even the first cloned pigs in the world, but a success was still a success. Although President Kim Dae-jung had been a proud supporter of Kwong's work, his administration still prioritized IT during the dot-com boom. As the dot-com boom turned into a dot-com bubble, Kim's admin came up with a more diverse initiative, the 6 T's: information, bio, nano, environmental, space, and home. To be honest, not my favorite slogan. There's a questionable number of T's there, but you get the picture. The end of 2002 saw another presidential election. President Kim handed over the reins to President Roh. Since Roh belonged to the same party as his predecessor, his administration inherited many of the same priorities. And of the 6 T's, the one that had the most promise in the short term was biotech. Early into his first year in office, Kwong invited the president to his lab to show him a dog, whose life he had saved by a stem cell transplant. Describing the visit, the president said, "I felt that Kwong's scientific achievement was not a technology, but a sort of magic. I certainly discovered the possibility of a new era in organization and the achievement of over $20,000 per capita GDP. Now, I'm so deeply moved with my father's credit. Wow, okay, laying it on a little thick, but sure. The government, as well as the media, were carefully crafting a mythos around Kwong. Kwong fit the archetype of what a model South Korean should strive for. Much emphasis was placed on just how he pulled himself out of poverty thanks to hard work and determination, the classic bootstrapping. And even though he was not wildly successful, he never strayed far from his simple roots. Quote, he rented a small apartment for the last 20 years. He's kept a routine of waking up at 12:30 a.m., going to fast, and then meditating for an hour before going to work at 6:30 a.m. He stays in cheap motels at international conferences and also flies economy. His philosophy is that abundance brings laziness. He is so busy, he never even had time to watch TV or read the newspaper. He was often the first in the office and the last to leave. Almost every aspect of his life seemed to be just about furthering the concept of cloning, even his religion. He once said, "I'm a Buddhist, and I have no philosophical problem with cloning. As you know, the basis of Buddhism is that life is recycled and supplements therapeutic cloning restarts the same.
That was lucky.
This is a striking contrast to the conversation in America, where religion was one of the fundamental drivers of Bush's funding. More than anything,
Wow, would have guessed! Religion drives it! Who would have guessed?
personal credit for his
Sorry.
breakthrough. He was always highlighting the spirit of sacrifice of his colleagues, so much so that he often talked about his lab as his family. A personal army of 125 researchers who he described as fighting the war for humanity and curing disease. Their personal motto? Moving the heart of the sky, and a country loving for it. Here are some quotes from his supporters. We were suffering a Japanese government for 46 years. So our country, which was independent since 1945, we only have a very short period to develop our country. If a Korean becomes top of the world in their own field, people are very proud. He was going to change our country's image and make South Korea #1 in the world, he said. We don't have someone to represent us today. South Africa, for example, has Mandela. That was the type of figure that many saw in him. But still, he had yet to break out onto the world stage, and there was a simple reason why. At no point had Kwame proven that his clones were actually clones. Yes, you heard that right. His cows and pigs were never genetically tested. He had never once had a paper be peer-reviewed. He held press conferences, photo ops, lab tours. You could even pet the animals themselves, but nowhere had ever released his data to be analyzed. The international scientific community wasn't ready to shower him with accolades until he could show he was the real deal. Publish his results in a respected, internationally recognized journal.
That's
So,
fair.
in late 2003, Kwong finally took the swing. He entered the news. He submitted a paper to the journal Science, one of, if not the most prestigious journal in the entire world, with an acceptance rate of 70%. And against all odds, his very first paper was accepted. He was about to become the king of cloning. Kwong's groundbreaking paper was titled Evidence of a Pluripotent Human Embryonic Stem Cell Line Derived from a Cloned Blastocyst, which is a whole lot of words, but you really need to humans and clones. Cloning mammals was considered an earth-shattering achievement when Dollywood days, and in the 7 years since, there have been several other breakthroughs in pigs, cows, mice. Critically, there had never been a success with cloning. So the idea that some unknown green team had skipped that step, if he had gone to a human embryo, that was unthinkable. He was years ahead of the rest of his field. Now, of course, he wasn't trying to grow a full human clone, with no respect for the science he was. Rather, he was trying to clone embryos into stem cells. A new type of stem cell that is the holy grail of stem cells. Now, to be clear, your body right now contains stem cells, unspecialized cells that can self-renew indefinitely. Your body represents hair cells. They're also limited in what they can do. A common example is found in your bone marrow. These are called metabolic stem cells. This type of stem cell can specialize in blood cells, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets, each of which carries out a unique function in the body. People who suffer from leukemia often can't produce these bone marrow stem cells on their own and can be treated with a stem cell transplant. The limitation here is that bone marrow stem cells can only specialize into blood cells and can't be used to treat anywhere else in the body. We call these multipotent. A stem cell that can specialize into multiple types of cells, but not all, even more restrictive types.
Vivi,
Yeah?
I beat Nightmare Night.
You did?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
That was kind of out of nowhere.
I was so nervous at the end there. Holy fuck. Okay. Bill's on crack.